Welcome to the Clock Hour. And today's special show is we're just going to enlighten some people on submarine life. United States Navy. Some of y'all know I'm ex-Navy. And I got a special guest here with me today, Mr. Daryl Wesson, straight from Philly. What's good, my brother, my Navy
What's
brother,
good?
my submarine sailor brother?
Hey, what's good, my brother? First of all, let me thank you for having me on, and
Right.
we finally get to tell our story. Right?
You're right, and I'm appreciative of the platform um, to be able to do it. So thanks, Sky 13 here. And first question would be, what made you join the Navy out of all the other branches of service?
Well, coming from Philly, I was born and raised in Philly, both Germantown and North Philly. So what made me join the Navy was I got tired of bullets. You know what I mean? I could have easily gone into the Army, Air Force, Marines, but nah, that just not wasn't what I wanted to do. And being a technical minded kind of person, the Navy had that for me.
Okay. Had you had talked to the recruiters or anything before that, before you decided on them, or you just
Nah,
said,
to,
nope,
to
Navy?
be honest, to be honest, I was standing at Broad and Erie, Broad and Butler, and they had at the time all four services recruiting offices on the same corner. I looked at the Marines and Army. Nah, I can't do that. Looked at the Air Force, and I remember one of my cousins telling me, saying, "Yo, you don't make rank fast." So the last one was the Navy, and I seen these two chicks walk up in the door, and I went and followed them, and the rest is history.
Right. Now, you and I, we're black men, young black men. I think we met. I got to the Phoenix 88, 89. I mean, I got there in 88. You came a little bit after that.
Yeah, I was late '88, early '89 when we met.
Right, right. You came from what sub before that?
I was on the Dallas, USS
Now,
Dallas. That's the Sen 700.
the Dallas was that sub that was in Hunt for Red October, right?
That's correct.
Were you on board during that whole, they got to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. There was like six or eight crew members that were actually in the film.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they did little cameo shots on board, but only a couple.
Oh, okay. But they had to come down there and have discussions with y'all.
Yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah,
how
yeah.
that,
They had to train. They had to do the training before, so they knew the language and stuff like that.
okay. So y'all took them out to sea?
Once,
Oh,
hmm
all right. Now, I know when you got to the Phoenix with us down there, there was really only a handful of us on board that.
yeah, I think there was like seven, maybe eight. There was no more than 10 of us,
Yeah. Black men on
black
subs.
men. Correct.
Submarines. So we
Yo,
was going
yo, but
underwater.
yeah, but on the Dallas, there was only three,
Three.
three.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was me. I was the most junior, and then there was my LPO Roy White. He
Okay.
was an E6, and then there was a cook. Yeah, there was only three of us.
Wow. Do you do you think that well, let me ask this. Did you experience any type of the big word racism out there?
Not directly, but you knew it was there. You know, I had a chief that I worked for that was one of those types, was one of those racist types. But
Right.
I peeped his game out early, so he didn't really affect me that way.
Right. Because I mean, for me, if I saw it, I just avoid it. I ain't have time to deal with it, or I faced it how I knew how to face it. We were all young back then anyway. You're
Yeah,
talking 88, 89. I think I left in 90.
yeah. You left in '90.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you benefited from the Navy, your time in the Navy, and what was the benefits?
I absolutely benefited from being in the Navy. One, I got an education, and not just a book education. I got an experience education. As a young black man coming out of North Philly, there was places that I would never thought I had seen. You know what I mean? So I got to see places and cultures that I never thought.
Right.
Just going to boot camp in California didn't seem possible to me, right? So that in itself was an education. And then being around and being able to work with different personalities and cultures and ethnic groups, that type thing. Nah,
Right.
you know,
So you,
so go ahead.
you were one of the lucky ones that got to go to San Diego.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to Great Lakes, man.
Well, it kind
November.
of yeah. Well, it kind of evened itself out because you remember the Dallas was stationed up in Groton,
Oh,
so pretty much straight out of boot camp and sub school, I was there. I
oh,
was there,
okay.
so it made up for it. And then later on the Phoenix, remember they sent me. Well, no, you probably don't. This was after you were gone. They sent me to school to Great Lakes
Whoa,
in January.
whoa. That's a different type
So
of cold up there, right?
uh, in January, that's that bone chilling cold. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I remember I went from Great Lakes to San Diego. I couldn't hear for a week. I had a cold, everything. San Diego, then sub school, Groton, then the Virginia to the Phoenix.
Yeah,
But just the transition of it, man, I couldn't hear nothing for about a week when I was over there, man. Congested, everything. But San
that,
Diego was an experience. And I look back at, the times. Remember, we used to go out and eat dinner, during paydays and stuff. We used to go to nice
all the time.
restaurants, and
Hmm.
us and the fellas, right? Go eat at nice restaurants, eat good dinner and whatnot. There was a spot I used to go get my hair cut from over near the college and everything. But it was a transition to from where we come from to going to do something like that. And nobody
Yeah,
really talks about it. I mean, the camaraderie is different.
it's way different. It's way different than anything you'll ever experience in your life.
Storytelling.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, what was it like being on submarines, right? So the only thing that comes close in my mind is being locked up in solitary confinement. You can't talk to
Pretty
nobody.
much.
You can't go outside. You can't see the sun. You don't even get that hour of recreation. You know what I mean? Everything is done inside. But the kicker is you have to rely on people with your life
Right.
that you don't even like.
Right.
So it takes a mentality like that to get past the fact that I don't like this cat, but if something go down, we got to be as one.
Right. And I was a cook, so you know, I would get a hard way to go from time to time, man. And I would fix them.
Well, you know, the days that you had duty when you was the galley watch captain, that's the only days we really wanted to eat on board.
Yeah, man. And somebody, you know what? Somebody had just told me that. They was like, man, we wasn't eating when the other cooks was in there. You know, one thing about it, coming up, I actually cared about what I ate, what I fed people, and so forth. And you know, some people you come across, they just don't care. You know, and I'm like, I remember one day watching this gentleman. He made some kind of salad, and he patted it. And I'm like, the way he put his hand in the salad to make the salad, and then he was like, "You want some?" No, no, no. You know, but like when I got to my second sub, pizza nights, everybody wanted to come in and hang with me. And and
Right.
and we do this pizza night thing together, you know, a lot of the brothers. So one thing I did realize is that you learn how to tell your story. Here's my
Mm-hmm.
story, here's his story, and we would sit and just have discussions like we do these days. Now you
Oh
stayed in
yeah,
for how long?
23 years.
23 years. Wow.
Yep.
I did 9 years and 6 months.
Yep.
Your last your
23
last your
years.
last command was where?
Submarine 11
So
in San Diego.
you wasn't on board the sub back then.
Mm-mm. My last submarine was the USS Portsmouth, and I left there in 2004.
Wow. Then that was your last sub. You didn't have to go on subs no more.
Nope.
What
Not
was
not as a not as a crew member.
your shore duty billet?
That was my last shore duty billet, but that was actually considered a neutral duty. The really only shore duty that I had was instructor duty in San Diego.
San Diego?
Yep.
That's your
Submarine
town.
training facility. Yep. Well, I got back there at the boot camp. I got back there in '96, and I retired out of there
Wow.
in 2008.
Okay. I got out in 97, man. Um, and went down to Georgia.
Mm.
And Department of Corrections, and I did everything down there from selling cars to selling home filtration systems until I got into Department of Corrections down there. I was gone by then, you know. But let me ask you a question: would you recommend the Navy, not just the Navy, the military, for some of these young brothers out here, young brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I would, but it's not for everybody.
Right,
I mean, if you can deal with somebody being in your face and telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, then you might be okay. If you can look past a lot of the stuff that goes on political wise with what you're doing, it's a great experience.
right,
Um, it transformed my life
right,
because when I was a young buck, young kid, there was no way you could have told me that I would have done something like I did, not
right,
knowing how to interact really with other races, that because there wasn't really much of that where I grew up, and
right.
not being able to articulate without using flowery words, you know, foul language, that type stuff. I never would have learned that
Right.
if I hadn't gone into the military.
You had to turn off certain mechanisms. I know when I started, somebody said, "Well, you got a chip on your shoulder." I was like, "Well, I didn't know what that meant. I had an
But what
attitude."
but what brother from the hood doesn't have a chip on
True,
their shoulder?
true,
Every day you get put out in situations, right? That
true.
either you got to think fast, you got to think on your feet, or
Right,
your home life might not be that good. So you got to be a provider with however way you want it. So already you come in
right,
with a chip on your shoulder,
right,
right? So that's inherent.
right,
It's what you do It's what you do with that chip on your shoulder that counts, right?
Yeah. I took it and turned it off. Once I figured it out, I turned it off. And then there was some influential brothers that I had met, people in general, that I had met, including yourself, that showed me that it was okay. Like, this is all right. This is how you do it. This is how it can be done. And we were okay. I
Yeah.
didn't make chief or nothing, but I did get to E6, but it was an experience of a lifetime, and I'll never forget it, man. And look, me and you, we met 88, man.
And
Here we are, 2021.
I mean, we were kids. I was the oldest one out of us, right?
Yeah, I
At
know.
20, at 20, 21, 22 years old, I was the
Right.
oldest one of us.
I wasn't even
And
21 yet.
I remember you and Q and Larry, y'all was like 18, 19,
I was
no more than
19.
20 years old, right?
Right.
So y'all look towards me as the guidance a lot of
Yeah.
times, but I got my guidance. I got my guidance from my man, Gerald Keith Tucker. That was
Right.
my dude. Taught me
Right.
how to articulate without getting upset and using
Right.
and cursing and things like that. That's who my main mentor was in the military. And on
Right.
top of that, he made me be the best that I could be.
Right. I
So,
feel you. So I gotta bring on another guest, man. But I'll reach back to you, and we're gonna keep this going to kind of get this information out there, that sub life, because I want to bring y'all back and give me a day to day. So
all
I'll
right,
see you soon. I'll talk to you soon anyway, my brother.
all right, be
Mr. Daryl
easy,
Wesson.
be easy, brother. Much love.
Peace.
Peace.
Welcome back to the Clock Hour, and today we were talking about I'm going to say black men in the Navy on submarines. I have another special guest here. My second guest is Mr. Jason Best. Jason Best, how you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How you?
I'm all right. Where you from, Jay? Let the people know where you're from.
From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Where at in Pittsburgh?
Oh man! Right now I stay in a spot called Homewood.
Okay, okay.
Originally, I'm from the north side. I gotta put my north side out there. That's where I'm from, the north side. But Homewood
Right,
is in the
right. Now, the same question that I asked Mr. Wesson, what made you join the Navy?
well. There was like three things. I was tired of school, doing go to college, and my older brother, Bill, he was in the Navy before, so that was something that. And then I knew I had to get that.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. As a minority, in that world, do you feel that you had to work harder than your counterparts?
I can't say I had to. I would have to say it was more of a lack of support. If that's a better way to put it, because you figure your rank and your achievements spoke for themselves. And every so often it might be some stuff where someone got promoted that shouldn't have. But in the aspect of being uh fairly treated and stuff like that, I would say like that your rank spoke the most.
Right,
But it was definitely a lack of support. Though. I mean, one of us was the fault. We definitely had a hard time getting back up. You know what I mean?
yeah. Um, Now we were in the submarine community, right?
Right.
How is that different from being on the surface ships?
Well, it almost speaks for itself. So, being smaller and everything, that was a definite factor. Everything being more confined. Um, I think there was more seriousness, definitely in the safety department. I mean, and then you had to be on, on your P's and Q's. You had to be on top of your game.
Right. Right. And that's one thing that I looked at as a cook. Um, they had, you got 30, 40 cooks on surface ships. Submarines, we had what, 7, 8. The recognition was there. As a matter of fact, I worked for a full bird, and he said he heard I was getting out, and he asked me if I ever thought about becoming a recruiter. I was like, nah. He said, well, take a look at it and get back to me. So I looked at it and got back to him, and he called the career counselor and said, Kendall wants to be a cook. Be a recruiter, make it happen. They made it happen. Let me ask you a question now also. Do you feel that your time in the Navy, you benefited from that? Or how did you benefit from that?
I definitely benefit. No, no, first and foremost, it made me or taught me how to accept my own good, better, and different. You know what I mean? So whatever I got myself into, I learned to accept my responsibility.
Okay.
And then, furthermore, it just it grew me up real fast. Took me from a kid to a man real fast. Definitely.
Boys to men.
Yeah, and it gave me a bigger mindset. To not just know about what I see, but just know there's stuff going on I don't see, but to know what's going on.
Right.
Don't ignore what you don't.
Right. Would you recommend some of these young men and women to join the Navy?
Definitely. I don't know. I got a son server right now, so definitely.
So your son's in the Navy?
Yes. My namesake.
I feel you. Now, give me a day. What was your job on the sub anyway? Tell the people what your job was.
I was a radio man. I was responsible for communications from the sub to everyone else, ships, shore, whoever. That was my job.
Now they don't. A lot of people don't know too much, but when I was on the Rogers, they used to do the family gram things. You remember those?
Yeah.
Because we can't pull over and make a phone call.
No.
We couldn't pull over and make a phone call or nothing. So you leave those letters or whatever they was with your family, and they could send you hi, everybody's okay, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you guys were responsible to get those to the people.
Yes, indeed. Like I said, everybody's been.
Because my man before, Wes, he was on the Phoenix with me.
Okay.
And you learn how to tell stories. The simple stories, you learn basically how to tell stories. They'd be like, oh, Marv, you talk too much. But this is what we had. Your music, the movies, if we got a chance to watch some movies, and your stories.
Right.
My hangout was the torpedo room. And I'm a cook.
Right. Hey, up until I met you, well, after I met you, my hangout was the mess decks with you, you know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
And I was, I worked in the radio shack. So.
Right. And and the interesting thing was there wasn't many of us on board, but it created a bond that some people just wouldn't understand.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean? What would you say? Well, give me a negative about the whole thing.
uh, that would that would be hard. I mean, the negatives would be that you can't go home to your family every day, something like that. But like I said, what one thing the Navy taught me is life goes on, man, and really you can do what you want to do. It's just it might take a longer process or whatever, but whatever you don't accomplish,
Right,
it's because you chose not to.
right,
You know what I mean? So the negative would be as for someone someone's lack of trying.
right. Because you know we hung tight, man, and we could tell a whole lot of stories. You know, I wanted to get P up here also, but you know the thing about it is the brotherhood, you know, vice submarines, because we wasn't in Scotland with you. I was in Scotland with P and them, and
Right.
there was a sister boat over there. So all of them were cool. We were all cool when we go to the club and everything. A lot of people don't realize, they think the military, I'm stuck underwater. But you do your job, you get off work, and you go out and hang out in the town or city or wherever you're at. You know, so it wasn't like you were locked on that sub for the 10 5 to 10 years that you were in. You know, we would get, that was my job. My job was to cook. I may work 7 to 7, but my record in Panama was 6 o'clock, right? So getting out at 6, jump in the shower, change clothes, we're gonna go have a good time. You
No
know what I
doubt.
mean? So a lot of people think that that's just where you're at. It's like having a job
Yeah, so
all
almost like
over
a
the world.
almost like a 9 to 5,
Right.
technically.
Technically, yeah. But it was a job all over the world, because you and I, we did the Connecticut all the way around to Washington State.
Right, right.
Yeah, that was an adventure, but we did
Definitely.
our job. That was an
That,
adventure.
that,
You know,
man, the whole nine.
yeah. You know, and to come, when you look at the map of the United States, to come, we came from Connecticut, stopped in Charleston, stopped in Florida, stopped in Panama, went down past the equator,
Yeah,
came up San Diego,
yep,
left San Diego, Washington State.
yep.
Young men. We were what, 21? 21,
I,
22?
what? Yeah,
Huh?
matter of fact, listen, I turned 21 the morning we left Charleston.
Wow. Wow. That was an adventure and a half. You know,
Yeah.
different cities, different times, different places. The 90s was great, man.
Oh,
Always.
great,
The
great.
90s was great. And Jay, some people know how you and I operate because you've been up here a few times. I've been down there a few times.
Okay.
You know, and that's 100, man.
No
Um,
doubt.
what I'm gonna do is I'll have what rank did you get to? I'm being nosy now because I never knew.
E5,
E5? Okay. You stayed there how many years? I never even paid attention.
7.5.
7.5? Okay, I did 9.5. I had Wes on here, I Seaman. He did 23.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, wow, okay. To, you know, but I even tell I used to tell some of the young people, let's say you get everything that you can out of it. So if you got to re-enlist 1 or 2 times to get everything that you need to get out of it to make yourself marketable, you know what I mean? And nobody really discusses the Navy. Most of the time, if they do, they talk about the ships and the aircraft carriers and stuff like that. But submarine life was a lot different. We ate better.
Definitely.
We ate better. Definitely ate better. We ate
And
better.
if I had to go back in right now, I'd go back to the submarine, man.
Right. Because you're not, like, they used to send me to some of the dry docks, the floating dry docks, the sub tenders. I used to go cook with them when we'd be either in Scotland somewhere. They have me over there with them. Just a different vibe, man. Different vibe, completely. Like I asked you before, you would recommend, some of the youth to go to the Navy or even look at it. Give it a shot. You know what I mean?
I tell you, man, this is what I tell anybody.
Right. Because you're a DJ now.
Yeah, the military will work for you, right?
Yeah.
But you got to work with them.
Right.
But the minute you get in there and start messing around, they're going to give it to you.
Right. And I went to my first studio in the military in Seattle. It was the first time I've ever been in a studio and everything, man. Because when I first went in, I wanted to be a DJ. That went out the window, But you're right. If they funded a lot of my adventures, especially going to the studio, because it cost me probably like $119 for one song.
Yeah.
And that was the deal. That was actually a good deal. I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I wasn't in the Navy.
Right. Then you got to think of the people you come across. People you met along the way.
Right.
You were spending certain positions and certain places at the right time.
Right.
Someone talking the same language, talking or whatever, and it just goes from there.
Right. Because I don't know what happened to the record. I did a record with this kid from Oakland, and I met him on the Ohio. Then we met another dude out there, and he was coming by the studio just to come by and hang out, and he dropped something down there for us. So it was an adventure, man. But I appreciate you coming on the show. I'm still trying to make this, not trying. I'm still, working at this clock hour thing, man, and it's working out for me. But I'll reach out for you.
I'm here.
All right. Stay up, my brother.
You too. Y'all be safe.
For the people, by the people, about the people.